You look good.
Let's do the theme song.
Brian MacNeil. He is so nice. He is so sweet. See, this is great. I like this. Thank you, Johannes, for creating this theme song.
Yes.
Everybody at Good Faith sings it. It's retarded.
Just when you're around or all the time?
Even when I'm not around. But mostly when I'm around.
Nice that they're thinking of you and sing your praises.
Yeah, I love it. They don't have to stop. Mr. Soap.
Good morning. More loud.
Louder.
Okay. Confident projection.
Yes.
Actor voice.
Ooh.
More like that? Is that okay?
Yeah, even closer.
Oh, like rub my nose on it?
Yep.
Okay. This does not remind me of being in bands. They were always like, further away, dude. Jesus.
That's right. You were in bands.
Yeah. I was in shitty bands.
Well.
Weirdly, the bands I joined, the first band I was ever in when I was a teenager was like huge. We played shows to like a couple of thousand people.
Mm-hmm.
And the last band I was in, I think we regularly played shows to like 5 people.
I've been to a lot of great shows that way.
Yeah, not ours.
But it's funny when you go to a show that only has 5 people, you don't want to be the person in front.
No.
Whenever I go to shows like that, I'm always like, I'm going to go to the side, stand near the bar.
Because we were like, the very last band, we were like a straight edge hardcore band at a time when in Scotland particularly and like through England, straight edge was like, fuck these guys.
Right.
So any bill we were on was all like tough guy hardcore bands, and then we'd come on and be like, beer isn't fun, and everybody would be like, fuck you. And we're like, yeah.
You got to know your audience better.
Yeah.
So what was the straight edge hardcore scene like back then? Is it big now?
No,
It's still not big.
there's a scene in London.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing in Scotland as far as I'm aware.
Mm-hmm.
I think we killed it. Yeah,
You maxed out.
we
Yeah.
killed it.
But you were in more than one band or just one?
I've been in quite a few,
Yeah.
but usually one into another. I didn't do multiple bands. I'm not super creative. He'll sing. All right, cool, yeah. So
Did you play any other instruments as well?
I started as a bass player, and a better bass player joined the band, so they took that job off me, and were like, but you can stay in if you sing, because I was better than the singer.
Okay.
So I stayed in.
What happened to that poor singer?
Yeah.
Fuck that guy. That's cool. And how long were you in that scene for?
The straight edge band ran for like a couple of years, but I played in punk bands from being 13 to like 30s, late 30s. Keeping it real. Playing to the kids. Like, hey kids, don't drink beer. Fuck you, granddad. Yeah, amazing.
I don't drink or anything now, but I definitely have a checkered past. But people always consider me straight edge, but I guess I'm straight edge without the music or whatever.
To claim edge, there is a relation to hardcore.
Okay.
I think if you don't like hardcore but you say you're straight edge, it's kind of weird. It's a shortcut for me. Like, I don't say it too much anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just usually say like, oh, I don't drink, or I'm driving, or something.
Sure.
Rather than be like, oh, I'm straight edge, and have to explain it, because the circles that I would be out in socially now, I'd have to explain what it was.
Right.
More than just say, oh, I'm driving. And then,
Right.
oh, okay.
It's easier.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's funny because the majority of music I listen to is mostly like stoner rock or psychedelic.
Every single guy in the band that I was in is the exact same. Black metal and stoner rock.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
It's fun to work with. I see you roll your eyes. You're like, no more.
Oh, no, I absolutely love it. Like, I could listen to stoner rock bands all day, no problem. Black metal might be a bit much and grind, but yeah.
Yeah, you gotta be like working out or in traffic to listen to that stuff. But that's cool. And you're still in bands now? Or no?
No, I've not been in a band for a good few years. Since the hardcore band broke up, I just stopped. We got to a point where we had a discussion, we sat down and we were like, right, we either need to do a lot more, take it a lot more seriously, like record more, tour more, or not do it. And the band was a pretty even split. And the deciding vote was the guy who, like our second guitarist, he was an academic and he got moved. He was going to be going to Oxford, and it's a bit of a commute from Oxford to Scotland, so we were like, oh, we'll just leave it. They all went on to do other things,
Right.
like way more successful things immediately, so it worked out.
Now, were you working as an artist during that time, doing the rock touring or the hardcore touring?
Yeah, but I wouldn't tattoo when we were on tour because they were super DIY affairs. So you'd spend the day driving. I wouldn't be driving. I'd spend the day sleeping in a van to get to the next venue. So there was no time to do guest spots and stuff like that.
Right. That's cool. And you've been tattooing for a long time now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like forever, almost.
Forever.
Yeah. This year will be like 25, 26 years.
Wow.
So quite a long time. I chose because I'm from the UK, so I chose one of the worst times to get into tattooing. It was towards the end of the sort of spectre of death AIDS epidemic, and lots of people were quitting tattooing because it was so quiet. And
really?
I was like, oh, that's for me. Like a job you can't make a living in? Cool, yeah, I'll do that.
It's crazy. And tattooing has just boomed in general, but when do you recall it started to get more popular again in the UK?
I probably put it down to like the Miami Ink effect.
Yeah.
Because when I moved, Stirling's a fairly big city where my studio is in Scotland. And when I opened there, which I didn't want to do, I didn't want to open a shop at the time. I didn't think I had the experience, but the job offers that I thought I had dried up as soon as I said I was moving to Scotland.
Okay.
And I couldn't get a job. I just couldn't get a job anywhere else. And my wife said, if you still want to do it, just do it yourself.
Right.
So kind of that DIY ethic. And I was like, all right, yeah, I'll do it myself. We'll see what happens. And she supported me through the first year of just it being terrible. And at that time, we were the second shop in the city, and I was the third tattooer. And now there are 6 shops, and I would say it's in double figures easily. People tattooing full time.
Incredible. Yeah, and so it goes from being totally nothing to, oh, we might make it, and too many people.
Yeah. There was a crest of a wave for a few years where I was like, that Ferrari's going to happen. Then I decided to have kids instead, and that Ferrari's never going to happen. So
no.
But as long as they're there's a smile on the kids' faces, it's all good.
Right. And the shop that you opened up, this is a recent shop that you opened up?
This is the second incarnation.
Okay.
So I opened a shop in September 2000, the original Lab Monkey.
Yeah.
Was the shop's name, and ran till September 2015. Then had a couple of years bouncing around different places, and opened up again August 2017. But this time with a partner.
Yeah.
So Rob Fraser is my partner in the new. We kept the name Lab Monkey because it's on the same street. Weirdly, it's like a couple doors down from the old place.
That's convenient. So if anybody remembers it from before, they know where to go
It's gone
back.
good. A lot of my old customers have come back. Rob has a insane client base, so he's busy. We almost work like it's not a private shop, but it kind of runs like it is. He does his own thing, I do my thing.
Right. That's awesome. But you were telling me about his work before, and he does a lot of kind of the realistic black and gray stuff.
Large scale black and grey. And it's predominantly what he does. It's one of his areas of interest. I think he kind of likes sort of neo-trad stuff as well, but there's so little call for it because he's so busy with the turning people into shadows that,
Yeah. But you do a lot of the traditional work, and I mean, that's a lot of the stuff that I'm drawn to as well.
Yeah.
More of the heavier, bolder work.
High contrast, bright color. That's what I want to do.
Yeah, definitely.
In whatever field people choose.
When you started tattooing, was that your focus in the beginning?
Man, I think for the first couple of years, I probably used a 3-liner for everything.
Yeah.
I probably did more Celtic bands than anything else for the first couple of years, definitely, that probably are now single black lines because there are so many lines so close together.
Yeah.
that's what people wanted.
Mhm.
Just, do you do fine line? And, whatever anybody asked, I'd just say yes, because I need to get paid. So
Right.
what are you saying? Oh yeah, I do that. Yeah, fuck yeah.
Mhm. It's funny though, like you kind of get to a point where you want to say no to some things at times, and then you always have to think back, like, I'll do anything. When you first started, you're like, you do portraits? I've never done one, but yes.
Today, yeah. There's a balance of your art versus your work.
Mhm.
So if you didn't need to get paid and you could choose everything you did,
Mhm.
and the commercial aspect was totally irrelevant, then I would probably do a fraction of what I did
Yeah.
or what I do. But you've got to be realistic and you got to pay the bills. So
Mhm.
like, oh yeah, like, let me see that Pinterest thing. Yeah, let's do it.
Uh-huh. I was talking with another artist, a guy I was trying to get on the podcast, but he didn't want to do it. And he brought up a good point about, if you were to have enough money where you could kind of pick and choose, would you even tattoo? What would you do with your time?
I probably still would.
Yeah.
But I would definitely, if I could choose, of course I'd choose.
Be
If
more
you,
picky then.
yeah, hell yeah. In everything, if you've got the power of discretion, I guess,
Mhm.
then of course you would exercise it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder what I would do. I definitely would probably allow for more time for painting, because I definitely like a lot of that. I like to have some time to myself where you're not having to like entertain somebody as well as working. So like maybe divide the time. I actually did that for a while, and then I got so tired of myself that I had to go back to tattooing more. I was doing maybe like I think it was maybe 3 days tattooing, and then the rest was painting, and then it just got too much in a studio alone. But that's one thing I always.
It's nice to have the freedom to experiment with that sort of thing. I probably would compete more. I would run more.
Yeah.
Having the time to train more effectively, more regularly. I would definitely do more of that. It's not just from a fitness point of view, like for your head, it's good as well. Like I guess the mental health aspect of getting outside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd definitely do that.
Yeah. That's something I think we definitely need, because we're sitting on our asses most of the day.
Yeah.
Working, tattooing, and kind of in our own heads. So it's nice to kind of get the body going, and that's something I'm definitely lacking on lately, is some sort of physical activity. It's mostly just mental and drawing and sitting and eating.
I mean, this is a lovely part of the world where you are. Like this week, like I got here and I had a race on Sunday, the day before I flew out, like a long race.
Mm-hmm.
So my legs were a bit beat up. So I've done some short runs out in the woods, and I've been for a few swims in the sea, and seen far too many naked old Danish guys. But other than that, it's been great. The opportunity is there.
I know.
But like me, you must know, guys, I know plenty of tattooers who've been working a fraction of the time I've been working, and they've got bad backs. They might have problems with their hands. They might have like neck issues. I'm in my mid-40s. I've got 2 kids. I have no back issues. I have no health issues other than stress occasionally, which I can't really work out for.
Mm-hmm.
But like running for me clears my head, and I can lead the horse to water, but I can't make it drink, kind of thing.
Sure.
And Rob had chronic back issues when he started working with me, and he's been running a little now. He goes to yoga, and his back is fine. And of the two of us, I probably do more fitness stuff. I'm more into, like, I compete with running, and I've done triathlons with my wife and other competitions of various sorts, and he doesn't do that. But he's the one who talks about it in the shop. He's becoming evangelical about it almost, because a lot of his customers are gym dudes, but they just do weights, and then they'll complain they're stiff, and so he's becoming, kind of preachy in a good way. But have you tried yoga? To these huge guys with tans, like basically the Scottish version of Jersey Shore. And he's like, you should try yoga. And they're all like, I can see them looking at him like, fuck off, dude. But he's like, no, it's really good. I do it. As soon as he says he does it, all right, where do you go? And it's done him the world of good. It really has. The change has been huge.
But it sounds to me it's like a new thing for him. So
Yeah.
I mean, I can relate to that. Like any new thing that is like a game changer for me, I'm like, oh, it's amazing. Share the message.
He's the chatty guy out of the two of us as well.
Yeah.
Definitely. I'm the quiet, keep myself to myself guy.
I've noticed that about you. I wanted to talk to you about that.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
So,
what's wrong with you, Dirk?
Yeah.
No,
but there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, everybody does their own thing, with their time. And it's funny, I always say that I'm not much of a chatty person either. So why would I do a podcast? But it's good for me because I can just sit back and listen to people talk. So for me, the way I steer around that is just to be like, oh, what's going on with you? And most of the time people like to talk about themselves.
There is the old kind of proverb or saying about the wise man's the one that listens and the fool's the one that talks.
Yeah.
Says the guy talking. So
I'll make you believe that then. I think it suits a lot of artist personalities in general.
I'm probably just a little more reserved about a lot of things. I mean, we started this by me talking about like fronting a hardcore band and just shouting at people, but outside of that kind of thing, I'm pretty quiet. I'm happy to sit back, and I talk about my kids a lot and their strange interests, and I guess I'm probably mentioning their strange interests to gloss over my strange interests, because I things that I will read about or listen to podcasts about, generally not the big areas of people's interests. So I'm not particularly into sports. Like, I don't like big organized sports. I like trail running. So I like one guy who'll run 100 miles in the hills. There's not a lot to talk about there unless you meet somebody really like-minded who is really into that. And a lot of the music I like is more to the outskirts of any particular genre. I like this, who's doing the weird shit? I'll check that out. And but I mean, I had a really interesting talk with Vincent this morning in the shop. We were talking about string theory, which it was cool. I was like, I was listening to this podcast about science on the way in. He's like, about what? And I didn't expect that. Not saying that I'm putting Vincent down in any way, but just, normally if I mention like string theory or wave function or something like that to somebody, like, cool,
gloss over.
All right, man. Yeah, but he was like, have you seen this video? And then we sat watching stuff on YouTube and we were exchanging ideas, and have you read this book? And did it, and brilliant. No, that was great.
Did you ever see that documentary on they're trying to discover the Higgs particle, and they're trying to figure out, I'm going to butcher it, but the idea behind it is that there was like two competing theories. One theory, it was supersymmetry, and the other theory is multiverse.
Okay.
They were using the Hadron Collider to shatter these photons. And when they were doing the measurements, they were hoping to find a particle, and it all depended on how much it weighed. And if it weighed a certain amount, it would slide in the scale of a multi-universe. And then the other side, I don't know the numbers, but it measured in the middle. So it allowed for both theories to
claim it.
Yeah, to essentially exist at the same time.
It falls within the parameters that we predicted, so our theory is the theory we should lead with. Yeah.
But it just didn't give any results either way. It was kind of interesting that it didn't dismiss one or the other. Pretty cool. I love that stuff. That keeps me up at night, watching these documentaries and reading different books on it. But it's cool that you're into that stuff as well.
And odd history stuff, like Egypt and Mexico and those ancient cultures. Like, I'm reading a book at the moment. I'm a big fan of Graham Hancock.
Oh yeah.
And some people listening to this now are going to be like, oh, he's awesome, and other people are going to be turning off because they're like, that guy's a prick. But his current book is on America, I guess prehistoric America, and the archaeology that's coming to light there now, and that's fascinating,
right?
I think.
But yeah, did you ever study anything like that, like in university, or is it just kind of like
no? When I went to university, I studied media because I was a teenager. I was obsessed with punk rock and skateboarding, and through those two things is how I got into tattooing because everybody I kind of idolized was heavily tattooed.
Sure.
Like all the guys in band. I basically wanted to be Henry Rollins when I was like 15. I was like, I'm going to be that guy, not realizing that he's that guy, be somebody else.
Right.
So I studied media because I was really into watching films. Not particularly into film, but I was into watching films. And somebody suggested that being a film critic, I could get paid for watching films. And I was like, fuck yeah, and it's inside as well. Awesome. So I did 2 years of a media degree, like writing essays about films. And during that time, got tattooed. Had the best and worst day at the same time because I had an appointment first thing in the morning at, it was a shop called Mike's Tattoos in Carlisle. And I'm now like super good friends with the guys who have the shop. I work there every year. They put on a great little convention called the North Lakes Show. Just fantastic. So I turned up in the morning for my appointment. Didn't get tattooed till 6 p.m. that night because I think they were just, I had dreadlocks at the time. And I think they were just like, let's fuck with that guy. And they did. I'd come from like a small rural farming community in Cumbria. Went to the biggest city in the northwest, I guess. Mm-hmm. And in this day saw more things than I'd ever seen before. Like I saw a fight, I saw a drug deal, I think I saw some sort of sex act against a pool table. It wasn't like there's just, it was insane. Like just this young guy, and I just saw a ton of shit, and then I got a tattoo at the end of it, and I was like, I'm doing this.
Yes. That's life right there.
Yeah. And have done from that point forward.
Uh-huh. That's cool that you have all those first memories attached to a tattoo as well. Do you keep it? Do you still have it?
I still have it, yeah.
Cool.
It's part of my really sick tribal sleeve that I've got.
But don't be ashamed of that.
I'm not down on it. I'm like, it was... when I got it, I thought I looked amazing when I started getting all the black, because there weren't tons of people doing that then, and it was hard for me to find tattooers there to do it. They were like, fuck, that's so boring. I want to do Celtic. So, to get it done was cool, and it helped me get where I wanted to get. I'm thinking about doing like another layer over it now. There's a tattooer in the UK, a guy called Curly. Uh-huh. He used to work at Into You, who's really instrumental in promoting that studio in the early days, along with Alex. And he's doing this wild stuff with layers, like black on black, and just kind of like the piece that Saeed did on your forearm, like that kind of stuff. But
yeah, I love this thing.
Yeah, I'm basically ripping that off.
No, it's basically the black or the white on black, but without the white.
Yeah,
it was a 20-year tattoo in the making. You just tattoo it, let it age, and then tattoo over it.
Yeah.
But how many years you have in that other tattoo now? Your arm? I
got it when I was between 19 to 20. I got the arm done.
So it's ripe for a new layer. Yeah. Are you going to fill in the negative spots as well?
No, I thought I'd maybe do something like Polynesian heavy line work over the whole thing. Just have it as a background.
Hell yeah. Then you start a new style.
Yeah.
It's funny, I was thinking, I think about tattooing a lot, but I'm afraid it's going to turn into like one of these styles that we tattoo that we associate it with something that isn't cool anymore.
Yeah.
But it came from something that, it was originated out of something cool. I hope it doesn't get to that point.
I still think tribal is cool. There's some people doing like fascinating black work stuff, like not geometric, like just tribal styles, sort of Polynesian, Maori, all that kind of region of stuff. But there's definitely parallel to that. There's a movement in, I would say, particularly London, of ironic tribal. Like young people who are cool will get something and then have a little bit of spiky tribal added to it because it's cool. That's bullshit.
I like it. I think it's funny. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah. I just thought I'd throw some controversy in there.
Yeah. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't talk about too many people we hated, and we didn't talk
We can
about...
get to it.
No. Let's leave that out.
I think I said, like, don't drink beer, like, I'm maybe up to half a dozen times now. So I've got, you know, my key demographic of 2 guys I know who'll be like, all right, cool, yeah, still edge.
And I think there's a special crew for over 40 straight edge.
There must be.
There has to be. I think
Yeah.
there's a tattoo you can get as well. Let me do the research. I'll get back to you. I don't condone straightism. How do you say it? Straightisms. If you want to smoke the reefers, you should.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody is entitled to their own choice to do whatever they want. I'm not preachy on anything I'm interested in or how I live or what I do. You can look at me and agree with it.
Mm-hmm.
You can look at me and disagree with it. It's entirely your call. I'm not.
I have to say, I think you're the first person that's been sober on my podcast.
That means the figures on this are going to tank. You know that, right? This guy is fucking... But he's talking about science now. Click. Done. Next.
Oh. Tell me again. It's Lab Monkey that you...
Lab Monkey,
Yeah.
yes.
And tell me the town that it's in.
It's in Stirling in central Scotland. So it's right between Glasgow and Edinburgh, the cool cities.
Awesome. I want to come visit if I can.
Yeah, sure.
I'll high five you.
We've got space.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love to go. I've been to Scotland once. I need to go back. And all right, my friend. I just want to say I appreciate you coming on. And before we close it up, what's your Instagram handle in case people want to find out your work?
Soap138.
Awesome. Thank you. Wonderful.
Thank you for the invite and wonderful hospitality in your home.
Oh, no problem. Thank you, sir.
My pleasure. Considerably less stressful than I thought it was going to be.